7:42. You're watching and listening to Breakfast with Stephen and Angela.
Let's take a look at today's front pages. In the Mail today, Jeremy Hunt says it's time to stop talking Britain down, as he's going to set out his plans for growth.
The Telegraph says Nicola Sturgeon's trans law is in disarray after she was forced to announce that a prisoner, Isla Bryson, who's just been convicted of rape, will have to stay in a male prison.
The Mirror leads with legendary singer Sir Rod Stewart, who's launched an attack on the Tories over their handling of the NHS.
The Guardian says Windrush campaigners have described the government's decision to drop crucial reform commitments as a slap in the face.
Well, it's time to go through the papers now, and joining us this morning is senior reporter from the newspaper, Benjamin. Benjamin.
It's Benedict Spence.
Benedict Spence.
And I work at the Eye now.
We're very grateful to you, Benedict, because I know you jumped in at last minute because Benjamin's...
Yes.
I know, I'm being mean.
Commentator, Benedict Spence, I apologise.
You could be on the Eye.
I could be Benjamin if you want. I can do it. I'm not sure how good my impression
is. As well, of course. Okay.
Definitely you, isn't it?
It is definitely you.
So.
Oh, good.
Yeah, still a bit early.
Let's start with you in the Times, should we?
Yeah, this is the PM's cunning plan to fill job vacancies and increase growth and productivity, was we were discussing earlier. Now, did you have it when you were a student?
Yes.
In Nottingham.
Yeah.
Did you have a job on the side?
I did. I worked at Trent FM, the local radio
right.
station.
So it was kind of vocational. You were getting work.
50 quid a day I got.
I worked in a cafe, a restaurant on a Friday night, and I remember I got paid 63 pence an hour, and in the holidays I worked in a frozen food factory in Leeds for a similar fee.
When I was still at school, because I didn't go to uni, but when I was still at school, I had a Saturday job in a company that was called Timothy Whites and Taylors.
Oh, yeah.
It is no longer.
Yeah.
And for a whole day's work, I got paid 10 shillings and sixpence.
If you tell that to the kids of today.
50p, in other words.
Yeah.
I used to work night shifts at a print works, if that's what we're doing. I used to earn £12 an hour. Yeah,
£12 an hour?
£12 an hour, overnight shift, yeah.
That's more than Amazon work.
You'd work from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and you'd get an absolute fortune because working in a print works overnight is a horrible, horrible job.
Right. Well, this is a way to fill all the vacancies they've decided. Students can shore up the hospitality and retail sectors, but not just students, foreign students. So at the moment, I wasn't aware of this, that if you're a foreign student and there are 680,000 overseas students, you're limited to 20 hours of paid work a week. Like, if you're seriously studying...
Well, that's enough, isn't it?
That's enough, but they're saying they're going to put it up to 30 hours. It's what a ridiculous proposition. Can you imagine? So,
why aren't British students or people, if there's a million vacancies, and people are looking for work?
Exactly. Now, my experience of foreign students was when my son was at Warwick University, and his now wife, her dad wanted to do an MA course after she got a degree, and it cost £29,000 for 12 months, and she was the only person on the course because of the scale of the fees. They were foreign students. They're not poor people. The families who are sending somebody from China at 29,000 are they're not going to be struggling to pay the bill, and I can't see these people working 30 hours a week to shore up the British economy. I mean, I've spoken to somebody who works here because we've chatted before, and he did work experience like you in radio, like internships, and so people are prepared to do that to enhance the prospects of getting a work visa after they graduate in the UK, and that's great because then they can enhance the British economy. But the idea that they're going to be the salvation of this country by coming over here to do a master's degree at Warwick Business School for £29,000 and then be flipping burgers in McDonald's. Can we come up with something better, please? Can I just say quickly that 30 years ago, after my eldest child had been born, and I did interview David Mellor at the time, but I remember asking somebody in government, Conservative, I've said, I've got a genuine question. I've just had a child. Please, can you tell me, say in 30 years' time, what will be the prospects for him in Britain Oh, what do you mean? I said, well, we can't go out anymore into the world, clubbing people over the head and stealing all the natural resources and bringing them back here and converting them into manufactured goods. What are we going to do in the future to pay our way in the world and create wealth? I didn't get an answer then.
No.
And
You probably won't get one now.
now.
Benedict, we've got to
Sure.
ask you. You've been looking in The Guardian at PPE.
Yes, on the subject of not having enough money, it turns out that the government has it's written off 15 billion in COVID vaccines and medicines and PPE that is unusable and that isn't needed anymore, stuff that's gone out of date, stuff that simply wasn't required in the first place. And a lot of this came because it was you were paying a premium for it at the height of the pandemic. Everybody remembers this. So there was a shortage because most of it was produced in Wuhan, so everybody was sort of scrambling around to pay as much as they could. And now as much as 3/4 of the value of a lot of this stuff has been wiped off of it, and we don't need it anyway. And it's a tricky one because the government is now burning some of it to produce electricity, and it's also auctioning some of it off. There is a particularly interesting thing here. You can buy it's all for sale on an auction site right now. 64,000 goggles in one lot. Would you like to know what the current bid
on, then.
for
Briefly.
£260?
Oh,
£260, 64,000 pairs of goggles.
There's got to be some money to be made there
Oh,
somewhere
yeah.
if you've got the storage space.
Somewhere.
Absolutely.
Sadly, we're out of time. We're overrunning a little bit this hour, but Liz and Benedict, we will catch up with you both
Thank
a
you.
bit later on.